I got a fire damage noble. I also got this crash damage car.
Oh, no. Oh, shit.
After fixing the M400, we found this body in the UK. We took apart the front of the M12, used the front of the M12 to fix the M400, got some custom powder coat samples, got some carbon fiber floors, and now it's on to the engines. Welcome back to the M400 build, and welcome to the investigation of these two engines. One is from an M12 3R GTO, and the other one is from a M400. The difference between these engines is pretty significant. This engine here does not have the forged internals that this engine has, apparently. We are gonna do some investigation and find out what is going on inside these engines, and also I wanna find out what it looks like to look inside of a burned engine. This car experienced some pretty good heat. That's enough talking. Let's find out what's going on inside of these engines, and once we find that out, we will be able to test whether or not this engine is good. So I hope it's good. I don't have any more money left because I've spent it all on all these cars around here, and I've started spending a lot more money, as you've seen in the last video, on that car. I have a problem.
Hey everyone, so I'm taking over Jack's channel for right now for this scene. So we have two engines and they look really good, other than the fact that this does not look very good at all. That one looks better, but Jack, tell us about this one.
So this is the burn car engine. There is a few parts on here that we might need. I'm not quite sure yet, but I want to see what the inside of this engine actually looks like, because obviously it's had a severe fire, and apparently this engine is detuned. Well, not detuned, but it has lesser parts in it, and this one has better parts. So if we could get the head off and visually see what the pistons look like, the differences, things like that. Also,
Jack, I'm not taking the head off this. What are you nuts? Have you seen this?
I mean, it's just a couple bolts.
I don't think it's a couple bolts. I think, okay,
they're right there. I can see them.
Okay. So here's what we can do. Okay, why don't we just take out the spark plugs and put a borescope down into the cylinders? Because taking the head off, you have to. I don't know if you've seen this. It's entirely melted. So there are bolts like back here that you can't get to. Or listen, if you want to do that, be my guest. But I figure that we can see what the good engine has, because I am a quitter. Now the difference between these two engines, they're both 3-liter V6s. They're both Ford Duritex, and this one right here it's from a Noble M12 GTO 3R, which I believe is they took it from a Ford Mondeo ST220 and slapped 2 T25 turbochargers on it. But this is a 3-liter Duratec engine that was in a Noble M400, and this was out of a Ford Mondeo ST220, but they put a bunch of forged internals in the bottom of this.
Was it specifically built by Roush, or was it Roush parts?
I have no idea. We should find out.
I think it was built by Roush. From what I've read about it, I think it was built by Roush. And also, I mean, there's like a really cool badge, if you can come check it out here.
Yeah.
Right there, you can see where it actually says L30 Noble. So yeah, I'm assuming long block 3.0 Noble?
Yep.
Maybe?
Yeah. So
that's what it means.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it means. That's official. That's official. We have verified it and Googled it. So this should have different pistons and rods, so this can hold a lot more power.
Yeah.
This, I believe, put out somewhere like 450 horsepower with the T28 turbos, slightly bigger, but I feel like with a forged bottom end, you can throw some serious boost
power at this. Yeah. I mean, the car only weighs 2,300 pounds, so why not make 800 horsepower?
Okay, we should take this engine apart. Yeah, let's just take it apart.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool.
Not bad.
Actually, that isn't bad. It's a little bit
it's a good burn.
It is good. Yeah, it's a little bit on the rich side, but you kind of want that in turbo cars. So you also they're NGK
R.
Yeah, and well, they're V power. So these are coppers, which means that they've been changed quite a bit. TR6 V power.
I think that's for this.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Well,
I'll keep that.
Okay, we're gonna put that
Is
there.
that for that?
I don't know.
I think so. I don't know.
All right, we just stick it in there. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, same thing.
They look pretty good. It's a little crusty, right?
That's okay. I don't know if you know this. The engine was in a fire, so I feel like anything that looks like that is probably okay. It means the cylinders maybe weren't damaged. So there might be some truth to, if we put a borescope down there, we could take the head off if you want.
Let's take the head off. I think that'll be fun. It'll be a little bit more work.
When you say it's not, who's this fun for? For the viewers. It'll be fun for them. Oh,
here, you need this.
Oh, Ooh, this one is just a little.
It's a bit worse.
Yeah, but.
Is that carbon or is that fire burn? That looks like fire got down in there. Maybe like came through the intake.
Maybe, but
Because that one's a little worse, so maybe this valve is slightly open and that one's fully open.
Okay, so here's a game I want to play, and it's called Jack can figure out how to take the head off.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Speed run. Speed run. What is
All
that?
right.
That's an 8? All right. And starting now.
So one thing that we can do is we don't need to worry about the chain tension here. You want to take these off actually? These cam sprockets?
Yeah, what size is that?
That looks like I don't know if you could take those off. Yeah.
Maybe.
Ooh, that actually smells kind of good, but it's very oily.
Yeah, that's bad. Well,
all right. Well, you know what? I don't think that's. Yeah.
No, this one just a small cover. It's
Okay.
It's a small cover with an 8, but it's got all this crap in the way. Let me see if I can get that. I think I can get that.
Do you want to just take a Sawzall and?
I think that's a better idea.
Oh, why? I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that, Jack.
Come on.
No. I have too much mechanical sympathy for you to do that. Somebody could have eaten these parts.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think the Sawzall will cut through that, honestly.
I don't think so. It's hardened steel.
I think that hardened steel will just destroy that Sawzall blade in no time. You want to try it?
No. You want to take these off and see if we can wiggle a little bit?
Yeah, let's see what it does.
Wiggle. Just a little bit. Also, this is not the way to take off a cam, but seeing as how this engine is destroyed, we're just trying to figure out what the setup for this thing is.
Oh, I didn't get that one all the way.
Okay. That.
It's got an 8 there and there. Let me grab those.
Can you give me a little? There we go.
Pop. Let me get that extension real quick.
Here you go. All right, just be careful. Actually, there's a lot of tension on here. We should release this.
Okay.
Yeah, release this first. That way it'll take.
It's pretty bad.
I'm sorry, Rex. I was going to take a shower this morning, but.
I'm trying to take a nap and I have to this.
All right. Watch yourself. It might come this way. Okay. There we go.
You know that thing where you put something on and you back it out and then the socket gets stuck?
No.
I just did that.
Okay. Rex did that on the P1 once. That was fun.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
We had to use 2 different wrenches.
Yeah. He was taking off. So Rex did a thing where he was taking off a 10mm bolt and he used a ratcheting wrench. That was a one-way ratcheting wrench and you couldn't reverse it. So he started taking the bolt out and the bolt bottomed out against, whatever it was next to, and the ratcheting wrench was stuck. And we're like, okay, so what do we do? Like, I have no idea.
I literally added like another 3 hours on that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we spent at least an hour.
That was before SEMA. That was right before SEMA.
Yeah.
It's like right when we didn't need it. So this is absolutely not the right way to do it. You don't take cams out like this. We still have tension on the chain here, but I don't think any of this is getting reused again realistically. So let me Push this. There we go. Haha.
Ooh, look at that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. You know
We
what
get-
this could be?
Lamp stands.
Lamp stands, furniture. Let's keep this and make this into furniture. This should be,
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Memories.
There we go.
Memories.
Garbage. Take this off.
That side too?
This is gonna have to, there's probably dowels in here.
Okay.
Most likely. Ooh. Hold on.
Brother. Ooh.
Brother, ooh. Watch this. Ooh. Like, that's good. So, come over here, look.
Look at that.
So, this is supposed to ride on timing chain guides. And
Whatever
not
that was.
only, what is that?
I don't know.
Brother, ooh.
What is that? Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in there. So this is supposed to be a smooth piece of plastic, and it just melted. It melted to the timing chain itself. So yeah, I think we are supposed to take this off, and if we take that off, then that means we take this guy off, and perhaps this.
Okay.
So I forgot that this is Jack's channel. So we should probably introduce people. This is Jack. You know him. I'm Freddie. That's Rex. And behind the camera is Tommy.
Hi. You don't get to see me.
There you go. Thank you.
It's hot, guys.
Rex, what do you think so far?
I mean, honestly, I can't even tell what kind of engine that is right there. And all I can see is them, tearing it apart.
That's funny.
So that came out with no issue at all. It seems like it was probably heat treated a little bit.
That was a little effortless.
Mm-hmm.
That one
coming
too.
up
Did you
really
see that?
easily.
Nice.
That was one, like, not even an UGA.
Maybe you
Yeah.
should just rebuild this engine. Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I think this engine's probably okay.
Yeah.
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 You can see that it got so hot. There's a plastic liner on the inside of this for the dampening element, but this is a harmonic dampener. And you can see me, like, I can just move it. You're not supposed to be able to move it that easily.
You turned it into a harmonica.
Yeah, turn it into a harmonica. That's really funny. That's really funny, Tommy.
I've been practicing.
What it is, yo.
I know people say this YouTubing stuff is easy. They don't see the real work.
You want to give it a couple taps with the hammer?
No.
They're having a really hard time taking this off. I don't understand why. It's. Look at this. It just comes right off. Guys,
No way.
literally took it off with my hands.
What?
Struggling.
Did you?
Look, I mean, dude, look right here.
Which one? The bottom one?
No, it came right off. Look, see.
Oh, okay.
Right here. Oh, you meant that one?
Yeah, that one, bro.
Oh.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was about to quit this job. This thing is not for me, man.
Listen, when in doubt, hammer it out. Oh, my Supra! Damn it!
Yeah, hey, man,
Well, you got like 20% of it out.
don't damage it, bro. We're selling this in eBay.
Did it hit right there? It hit right there. Water break. Get out the trusty hammer.
All right. Okay.
Right on the bird.
Are you okay?
Okay.
That
So
was
let's
close.
stop.
That was close.
No. That's gonna explode. That's gonna.
That
That just
It did-
tore a chunk right off, didn't it?
that didn't do what I thought it was gonna do. I don't know what I thought it was gonna do, but I thought it was gonna come off.
Hey, you want to just disconnect all the bolts and then we'll see if we can pull the head like that?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Jack, why is your car so complicated?
This is why you gave this to me.
Yep.
You were like, listen, man, I got the perfect project. And I was like, yeah, This will be easy.
Well, you said you could smoke through it in 3 days.
For 13, I told you.
I think we should, you know, if we're not going to take off the head, we should at least see if the turbo's good, because this has the same housing as the turbos that you're going to use, maybe, if you still have twin turbos.
Yeah.
So maybe we can, like, use the exhaust because it's routed the same way.
At least we can take that off and use that as a kind of like a template to be able to...
Like an analog, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, not it.
No, yep. What?
You do it. You do it. I'm hot and I'm very sweaty. I'm sweaty.
Sweaty.
I'm sorry. Why aren't you guys sweating? Is it just me? Why do I have a pituitary gland disorder or something?
So.
Yeah, Rex. Rex, like
I've
I
been
think
wiping
so.
my face. So.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I have.
No.
I don't sweat that much.
I'm from
He
the
doesn't, you don't,
Philippines and
you
I
don't.
think this is hot.
My back
This
on
is
fire.
really, really
I have
hot.
icy hot all over it.
My skin and Rex is. I'm darker than Rex.
Right now.
I'm darker than Rex, and I'm sweating like this. This is. You know what? But I'm lighter than Rex here. So look. So. Okay. All right. All right. This is. Okay. We can't. Stop. We can't. Oh my God.
Now that we have all the carbon fiber floors back from Joey, it's time to go over to the metal shop and get all of our aluminum panels cut out so that we can put those two pieces together and get that floor installed on the car. But before I do that, I'm gonna get something to eat. And thanks to today's sponsor, I don't have to worry about meal preps or going out and finding something on the road because they ship it right to my front door. Eat stress-free this summer with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from a weekly menu of 35 options, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan, and Veggie. Also, discover more than 60 add-ons every week, like breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks, and beverages to help you stay fueled and feel good all day long. What are you waiting for? Get started today and fuel up on your springtime goals. Looking for gourmet meals? Try meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, broccoli, broccolini, and asparagus. When things get hectic, Factor is flexible. Change your order every week with the plans from 4 to 18 meals per week. Or pause and reschedule your deliveries anytime. Factor meals eliminate the hassle of prepping, cooking, and cleaning up. Simply heat and savor the good stuff. The Evo makes a perfect table, guys. It's a multi-use car. Some of this chicken here. That's really, really good. Factor is a go-to lunch or dinner solution for when I'm on the run, because in this shop, we never stop building cars. We are always busy. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use my code JBI50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month's orders. That's code JBI50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month's orders. Go check it out in the link in the description.
Look underneath here. It's dripping something from the cylinder head.
Yeah, that's coolant. It's green.
Okay, so it still has coolant in it. I would have thought that all the coolant would have like boiled over or something.
Like all the, you know, especially with it being open, like the open system.
Yep.
But I mean now, that's kind of a good sign. Then maybe the pistons are okay. I don't know.
Maybe they just got steam cleaned.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to attempt with my all right. I'm gonna take this up.
That's
Okay.
And only 500 more turns like this.
Yeah. 1 and a 2 and a. Okay. Yep. Watch your face.
Easy.
What? I think you can move it that way. You just move it that way. I think it'll come out. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
There it is.
Okay.
Sweet.
Nice. Now I just take off the line. Oh, look at that.
You're leaking.
Yeah, we're leaking a little bit. I think it's because we took the
head loose?
The head's loose now.
Okay.
Which means we might be able to just like, you know,
Lift it up.
but okay. Oh!
Oh!
She's a squirter.
Oh, there we go.
All right. There's other bolts. There's other bolts. No. Don't use a big pry bar.
Bigger bar.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. We'll use it. Let's take the turbo apart, use a borescope, then go on to the good engine and see what we can actually use.
Okay.
Because I'm dirty and it's getting late. Sun's getting real low.
Hold on.
You look like Elvis Presley, bro.
There ain't nothing but a hound dog. Oh no.
No!
It's still spinnies?
Look at this. Come take a look at this.
Oh yeah.
So, it still moves. Dude, this is like still a usable turbo. I think realistically, you can replace the seals in here if they haven't seemed to perish. So, yeah, just put the seals back together and you got a good, this is a, I mean, it's T25 turbo, but that'd be good for...
Looks like it's been rebuilt in 2021. Or 2020? Is it 2020 or 21? 9/2020?
Yeah, That's interesting. I wonder if these are different from, it's a Garrett T25, but maybe it's like a different housing.
Yeah.
Because I know that some cars use this, the second generation Mitsubishi Eclipse use these, and you could upgrade them.
They might have been upgraded.
Maybe, yeah. I have no idea how you take this stuff apart. Like,
You're gonna have to have this come off, but to get that off, you're gonna have to take all these off, I think.
Yeah, so you have to take this this coolant line off. So it's both coolant and oil fed. See, the way turbos work is they have high pressure oil go in here, and it feeds the bearing that makes it spin, essentially. Well, not makes it spin, but allows it to spin without creating friction. Then that spent oil goes in this. This is basically under the car, and this is a really big line. That's the oil return. That goes back into the tank, into the sump. But some turbos also are coolant. So some turbos are also coolant fed. So you have pressurized coolant go through the turbo this way to keep it in a certain temperature range. So this is actually a pretty, good design. This also has an internal wastegate. So this right here is the wastegate, and this regulates the amount of boost that comes in. So if you look right here, so this guy is called a wastegate. Oh my God. I work with a bunch of amateurs, okay?
Hey! My Evo. I didn't take this home because I didn't want the kids to play with it, and then Rex comes over here and plays with it.
All the kids here play
They
with
puts
it.
it upside down like it's some kind of toy.
Toy or something, I mean.
This is a wastegate, and the wastegate is a valve that opens up and closes. So right now it's closed, but when the turbo has enough boost, you have a boost reference sensor, not a sensor, but you have boost reference here. It opens up this diaphragm, and this opens up, allows the boost energy to bypass the turbo. So it regulates the amount of pressure that's in the turbo. Because otherwise, if you don't have this wastegate, you're just going to have so much pressure that it's going to basically blow up your engine. A lot of bad things happen when you have too much boost pressure. You can just watch The Fast and the Furious. That's a documentary that was all about what happens. Danger to the manifold. And then your floor falls out. It's really bad. But then you can still evade the cops after your engine blows up. So at least that's a saving grace. But so this all seems okay. Maybe I don't know. you can, yeah, so this can move a little bit. So if we, that, hold on. I don't want to look like an idiot, but, okay, see, it opens, that's fine.
So also, like, when that's going off, that's what you hear a little bit of. It's not a flutter, but you hear, like, you can hear, like,
So
when it's coming through.
I mean, sometimes there's a lot of different noises that it can make. On a car that has what's called a screamer pipe, it has an external gate. Again, I'm getting really geeky here, but if it has an external wastegate that's not internal to the turbo, and it has a screamer pipe that doesn't go into the exhaust, it sounds like that.
It's more like it sounds more violent, like rushing of air, like a violent rushing of air.
Yeah.
But like it has more abrasive sound to it, though. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like I've heard that before on the other cars, and then find out that they have screamer pipes. So
yeah, but on an internally gated car, you're very not likely to hear a wastegate. I don't think you're gonna hear it because the turbo is just doing its thing anyway. Tommy, did you have your car on? I think we're suffering from some carbon monoxide poisoning here.
How dare you talk about the rotary like that, bro?
It's okay. It's Dad. It can't hear us.
Wow. Rex, go start it.
I don't want to start that. I don't want it to blow up in my head.
Oh.
The design of this is really interesting. I mean, look at this. So you have these bolts that come out, but you can't take them all the way out because it hits the housing. So what you have to do is you have to knock this out just enough that you can undo the bolts, and you do it at the same time. So that's, oh, you all right?
Yep.
All right. So that's separated from the housing. I can take this bolt out, and then this should come out like that. And then I think
probably can get that off.
I think we can. Hold on. Let's. Okay. Yeah. I think we're good.
Go ahead.
Watch this, and we will have a turbo that is taken apart in 3, 2, 1.
There it is. Is it caught on it?
Yeah, I think it's caught on something.
There
we go. Look at that. Actually, that looks really good, man.
It's not bad at all.
Oh.
It doesn't look like these are too worn.
No, but I mean, this is it's all heated up and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would replace everything, but this turbo seems like it's okay.
Spins pretty good still. I mean,
if you were to,
it's rubbing on this because this is not compressed.
yeah, honestly, if you were to put this in a vapor blasting machine, this would look brand new.
Could probably make it look, brand new.
Yeah.
But also, if we have this back in the car and we put the engine in, and this goes bad or there's a loose seal, that's engine out.
It's really, really, really thin. I don't see how that's serviceable.
No,
in the car.
That's gonna be like a nightmare. So there's definitely gonna be some thought going into how this setup goes on, because I don't want to have to deal with stuff like that. That's gonna be
what are your options? So I mean, you can go bigger twins, right? Like with something a little bit bigger, but then you're running into issues with like the amount of engine you actually have because you only have 3 liters.
Yeah. So T28s is what's on the 400.
Yeah.
The M400, and these are T25s, and there's one on the left bank, one on the right bank, and the left bank is impossible to get to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could go a bigger single turbo. I think a bigger single, maybe not too big though. Nothing crazy.
Uh-huh.
How power are you trying to make it?
So if I went single turbo, like, something like a GTX 35 is what?
I mean, that's what, like a 57 or a 60 millimeter turbo, something like that?
Like a 57, I want to say, or
Okay.
62. Maybe it's closer to
Okay,
62.
a lot of people don't know what the sizing of turbos is. Just Google it. It's a pretty big turbo, and it handles what, like 500-600 horsepower, something like
I
that.
think it's up to 600 horsepower. So
Okay.
in that range with 3 liters and everything that is going into this car, I think that would make optimal as a single turbo, because it's not a big turbo, right?
Yeah.
Big turbo means it takes a long time to spin that thing around. Smaller turbo spins faster, so if we can start spinning faster in the rev range, like around 2,000 to 1,500 RPM,
1500 RPM is like, that's like a diesel. Like that, you're not going to get that.
Well,
I think like 2,000 to 3,000
Like
is,
two.
is
So
probably.
let's say fair. To be fair, let's say 2. So if
Okay.
it starts spinning at 2 through the rev range, which I believe on this car is right around 7.
Okay. So from
So
2,000 RPM to 7,000 RPM, you
that's
want
a really responsive turbo then.
Yeah, I think so. And so you would have to have something a little bit small, but
It won't be as cool as like
probably the same size you have in your Evo.
I would think so. I
Yeah.
think the Evo is actually I think it's a 58. I want to say.
Yeah, but you have
58?
2 liters on your Evo, and you have 3 liters here.
versus
So
3
yeah, so you'll have a lot more.
displacement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be one of the options that I have to go through because that is way too hard to try to get anything serviced on that. We literally had this on the bench apart from everything, and it was still like really difficult to take apart. I mean, look at the the sweat dripping from his brow.
It's the sweet sweat.
Yeah.
Let's go look at your engines.
Now we're going to do a deep dive into the cylinders here so that we can see what is actually going on. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to hold the phone or?
I will hold the phone.
I will do the dive.
Okay, you know what? How about this? I will. Jack, I can see into your brain.
There was something in there? I saw cobwebs.
Yeah, there's 2 cockroaches playing ping pong. So I'm gonna tell you what to do, without you seeing this.
Okay.
So,
Ready?
okay. All right, you're good. You're good. You're good. Keep going. Keep going. Whoop. Okay. Well, that's fun. All right, take a look at this.
Ooh, yeah. Well, the fluid is probably from separating, and the dust is definitely.
But take a look at the piston.
dropping in.
They're definitely like stock pistons. There's no dish or reliefs for the valves.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's anything.
See this one
really-
here,
Okay.
because these ones were looking a little grody when we looked in there.
Grody,
Yeah, they weren't looking too good.
like Adrian Grody.
Yeah. This one's.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like it wasn't there for a while, or maybe I don't know. The piston doesn't look too bad though.
No, but it looks like it's also been steam cleaned.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. Pull out a little bit. All right. So that's honestly not terrible. It's not the best. We should compare that to the other engine.
Yeah, and find out what's going on and see if there is upgraded pistons in there. So
I think there should be.
there should be.
Because from Wikipedia, it says that the bottom end of this is all forged, and it's all different. So we're going to see how different and or forged it is.
Yeah.
So fun fact, these coil packs are very similar, if not identical, to the ones on an Aston Martin DBS.
Yeah, I think they're the same, right?
Yeah, I think there's a...
Pretty sure they're the same.
They're very similar. They're kind of slightly different, but it's all Ford stuff. So essentially, a early Aston Martin V12 is very similar architecture-wise to like 2 Ford Mondeo V6s put together. There are lots of differences, but the internals, like you could interchange the rods and pistons and all that stuff. So you'll have Ford rods and pistons in your Aston Martin. So that's cool.
So what you're saying is I pretty much have a V12.
Well, you have a V12 right here. Yeah. All we need, we've got a welder.
Yeah.
We just make it work.
Put it together. I mean, that's what the guys in Aston Martin did.
Actually, I've talked to the brother of the designer of the engine, and he's very adamant that it is not just 2 engines put together. I know it's not just 2 engines put together.
Why
But it's sort of is.
Do you think it's like? Do you think it's kind of like it's like hurting his feelings that someone
I
would
think
say
so.
that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, if your brother like made a really cool engine, and some guy was like, "Oh, it's like 2 Honda Civic motors put together," like, yeah, I would be like, actually, it has a different PCV valve, so there you go.
It's much more different.
It's much better. It's much better.
Oh, hey. Oh, that stayed on there. Come out. I'm gonna need a socket for that. Okay. Come on. Okay, well, it's different.
Oh, is it?
Different size spark plug.
Is it now? Oh, she was torqued on there pretty good.
It was. Ooh.
Okay.
Not so great.
Yeah, but it's a better spark plug at least.
Yeah.
So this is a Motorcraft Platinum, so it's Ford. So it's yeah, I mean it should be. This is probably original to this engine.
I would think so.
Yeah, so
That's weird though. Why wouldn't they upgrade the spark plugs on this engine? Because they're putting out more power.
yeah, but it might be. I don't know what the heat range is. So with spark plugs, if you add boost or you add supercharger or a power adder, usually you want to go one step colder, and that doesn't mean that the spark is colder, but it just means that the heat range, the operating heat range of the plug, is at a colder range.
So it basically means the inside of this is further protected by the outside. Right?
Something like that. I actually don't know. I think it has to do with the way it's made up or something.
I believe
but...
so. In like a colder plug, it's further in.
Okay.
So basically, like they increase the size of the wall right here, and this little porcelain piece on the inside here is further down, so that it doesn't get as hot.
They tried to increase the size of the wall, but Rex still got through. Anyway, don't put that in.
Rex, love you. Okay, let's see what we have in here. Besides stuff that's falling down there.
Okay.
That's like just corrosion from the...
No, it's just oil and...
That doesn't look much different.
No, that doesn't look much different.
So
let's try a different one where it's a little bit further down.
Okay.
We could also move the crank a little bit to see.
Yeah. To see if we're gonna get it.
But let's take these out.
Okay. Here, you pop that out. I'll hold these.
These don't look terrible.
No, the burn is good. It's just not.
Yeah, they're just old. They've been sitting for a while.
Yeah. This one's got a lot of corrosion around the edges of it.
Yeah. But it could be. I mean, is that anti-seize? Could be anti-seize.
Do you think?
Maybe.
Because this one doesn't have any.
No, you're right. Yeah, it doesn't have any.
I think that one started corroding to the cylinder head.
It might have been, yeah. But look at this. It has
Plenty on that.
yeah.
But look at that one. That's dry.
So maybe that cylinder was running a little hot. I don't know.
You want to do the honors?
Yep.
Let's see.
I think this one's gonna be right at the top, or maybe not.
Oh, you see the valves? They're open.
Yeah. The valves are open right here. So the valves. See these guys right here.
That piston looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused.
So that does look exactly the same. I was told that this would be forged. So maybe it is forged, but just in the same sort of piston
It's
thing.
forged in fire.
Forged in. Look at this. Oh no! You see?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the piston. You see the valve reliefs right there. No, this is
Dude, go back to the other one because that doesn't look the same. Am I crazy or is it?
You might be crazy.
I mean, besides that part, but
No, you see them right there. Look. The
okay.
The reliefs.
I see it now.
Yeah.
So before I'm thinking like we're seeing a wall, but no, yeah, you see the
No.
reliefs in it now.
See the reliefs. Just to make sure. Let's go in here.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we don't see that same thing. Oops. Sorry. Actually, no.
No, they're there.
No, they're there.
Huh.
They look very, very similar.
So did Noble lie and say that these were forged internals?
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. Or maybe that's an engine not from an M400.
I wonder. You know what? So when we got this car, it was taken apart quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm curious to find out if that... I wonder if there's markings that will tell us whether or not it's for the M400 or not.
That marking on the engine, we know... I mean, can we call up Noble? And we can ask them, like, that engine has to correspond to something.
We could.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could get through to somebody. Like,
Why don't we email them?
Yeah.
Why don't we email them and see where that engine came from?
I wonder if this thing had an engine taken out of it, and then they put a
Just whatever they can
like
find.
they put a 12, an M12 in there.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make any sense then, unless the pistons are just oddly the same.
They could also be the same, but like
Just a forged material.
it could also be just forged rods. I don't know.
Now I'm kind of curious whether or not we got bamboozled and they gave us an engine that was from a different car. Because this doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
Unless it's just the rods.
Okay. So if you guys in the comments, because we're in real time, we actually do not know. This is not like a bit. So if you guys know anything about Nobles, then let us know. Maybe it's just the rods. Maybe it's the crank. Maybe none of it is forged, and we've just been lied to. And maybe I just read Wikipedia wrong. So I was reading Wikipedia. That's
Wikipedia.
Yeah. It's a Rick and Morty thing.
Ricky.
All right. So that engine. I mean, we know that engine should be good. The cylinder walls looked okay.
They look fine. Looks like it'll run.
Yeah, it looks like
we should pull the plugs and then turn it over.
Okay.
See if we can have compression.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're not gonna have compression without plugs.
Well, I mean, you'll feel the when it.
Oh yeah. No, we'll feel the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if we can turn it over.
How does that feel?
It's very smooth.
The cylinder walls are great.
Yeah. I'm not feeling any
No, seems good.
resistance. It's
I mean, you shouldn't feel any resistance because there's no compression, but you know.
See if you can cover it.
Bang. Yep. Feel it.
You feel it?
Yep.
Okay.
I feel the air go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I did some research in Wikipedia land, and it says the Noble M400 features a transverse rear mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout. The power plant is a 3-liter DOHC Ford Duratec V6 engine with 4 valves per cylinder as used in the Ford Mondeo ST220. With this engine as a base, Noble fits high-lift camshaft, revised fuel injection, and Garrett Air Research T28 twin turbochargers. For durability, Noble also added forged pistons, an oil cooler, which this one has, a larger baffled oil sump, which is right here, and extra cooling ducts, which is on the body of the car. So, for all intents and purposes, I do think this should be
our engine.
This should be our engine for the M400, unless it was just like they put an oil pump, what is it?
Unless they took
the
that
oil
out
sump
and then
off.
put that back in.
They could have
because
put an oil
on the
sump on it.
M12 3R they introduced the oil cooler.
Yeah.
So it did have that, but the reason
but
why
the sump is different.
It is. But the reason why I think this is probably a 400 engine is because when I took the car apart, I remember pulling all the stuff off of it and thinking to myself, like, okay, well, some of this stuff has definitely been jostled around and taken apart, but a lot of it was still, like, put together from factory, hadn't been touched. So I'm assuming...
like, the engine looks so clean.
It is very clean.
It looks almost brand new.
It really does. Like, I mean, there's minimal dirt on the transmission.
But, I mean, look at this. Like, you see all the casting flash. It doesn't look like it's been through any real heat cycles.
Hardly any oxidation.
Yeah, the interior looks great.
Yeah.
So I think this is an M400 engine, but I mean, after seeing those pistons, it's also possible that both of these have forged pistons. But if you guys know anything more about this, then I'm sure we'd like to figure that out.
You know, I did talk to the owner of the burn car, and he said to me that he had a Roush built block. So he had so he had the Ford Performance block. I think it's called the Ford Performance block. He had one, but it burned down in the fire. So I'm curious if he had just the bottom end or he had the top end. Because if he had the bottom end and it was open or something like that, he could see it. Yeah. He would be able to tell us if the pistons were any different, I would assume.
I mean, we also know the guy that works on Noble, Dave.
This is true.
Yeah, so we could just ask him.
Dave, comment below.
Dave's watching this video right now. So, okay.
It's like, these guys are idiots.
Exactly. It's like, what? It's like the dumbest people on the planet. So we're definitely using this engine. There's probably going to be some stuff that we can use from this. Maybe, the exhaust routing. Yeah. Maybe, but you're also thinking about going single turbo.
Yeah.
We should figure out a wiring solution for this.
Yeah, because there's been some discoveries that weren't so good.
Yeah, you should.
I don't know if I told you about that. Did I show you?
No, you should. Well, I mean, I think I know, okay. And I think is it the reason this one burned down?
It's the reason this one burned down.
Okay.
The crash actually saved the 400.
Wonderful. All right, let's go check this.
Yeah. If you guys remember from a previous episode, this is my friend Eric. Eric has been tasked with building a wiring harness for the Noble, and not only building a wiring harness, he is going to program and tune this car as well. When I talked about doing the wiring harness with Eric, he asked me if he could do something called a concentric twist. A concentric twist is a perfectly round wiring harness that is built to withstand the harshest of conditions. Eric starts out by running the main wire, which is going to be the center point for our wiring harness. And soon after that, he starts wrapping around the first layer of the concentrically twisted harness. With each layer that is built, you have to calculate the size of the wire that is going around the previous section. While you're doing this, you're able to understand exactly how many wires are going to go into that next layer. This particular wiring harness has 3 layers of wires, coming out to a total of 84 wires. I just want to give a huge thanks to Eric, because without Eric, this project would not be possible. What he is doing is bringing this car to the next level. Eric, you are back again. You have some goodies with you, but first, before we talk about those, I want to show you what we've discovered on this engine here. So the last time you were here, we looked at the old harness and you were like, oh, this is garbage. We should throw this away. So we're doing...
I didn't quite say that, but I did imply it.
Yes, you did.
I did imply it.
So I know we can do way better than that. And you have done way better than that. But before we show that, I want to talk about what we discovered here. So the fire on this car seems to have started on this side of the car, which leads me to believe that this was actually caused by the car and not a house fire.
We found, we found a possible culprit. On the M400, it had a small 20 gauge wire that was feeding the fuel pump. Now, any of you guys that are into wiring, whatever, will know that like a 20 gauge wire, you don't want to run any more than 4 or 5 amps through it, max. Your average fuel pump, high performance fuel pump, pulls between like 10 and 15 amps peak.
So not good.
No, not good at all. So,
what else did we find though?
Oh, the connector was turning. The connector was turning this color.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, it was turning that color. And that was on the M400 that hadn't burned down yet. That was the key word, yet.
So one of the things that I always wanted to do to this car was make this car the car that it never was. It was always intended to be the supercar for the everyday man. I think the theming of the car was always, this is the everyman's supercar, right? So what we are doing is making this the everyman's supercar that it should have been. This is going to be one of the most insane nobles out there. A lot of guys have done some pretty amazing stuff, which I know you've been doing your research. So guys have done some amazing stuff, but now we have something special. We don't want this to happen to the 400 because this thing is going to be very special. So let's talk about that and let's show the guys what you've been doing and how busy you've been. So Eric has our wiring harness here. Explain this to me because I've never seen anything like this.
Okay, well first it's not done, it's a work in progress. But this is what I'm building here is a concentrically twisted harness. Now what that means is that it's the wires are in layers and they alternate back and forth, clockwise, counterclockwise, and so on and so forth.
So like weaving over each other.
So if you take a look closely, so this is the top layer right here. And,
okay.
And if you look underneath the layer under it,
so you can see I see exactly what you're saying here. So these are perfectly twisted over each other to hold a certain type of strength, right? So that brings me to the next point. What is the benefits of this harness?
Okay, so the main benefits of a concentrically twisted harness is first, just like what you said, you're combining the tensile strength of all the wires that are actually in the harness. So it makes it a lot, stronger and durable. And then another main benefit of it is the flexibility of it.
Wow, that actually you could make a wave motion with that almost.
Pretty much, and a final benefit of doing a concentric twist is that it has a pretty small cross section. So there are 84 conductors in this trunk right here.
That's insane.
Trunk. So I'm not too sure what the factory harness had, but I guarantee this has just as many wires. I'm sorry. As the actual factory harness, but it's in a small
small compact package.
Yes.
So this here, from what I've been told, and I've been told this by you because I don't know much about this stuff, but I'm learning and I'm super grateful for what you're doing on this project. Guys, Eric is going to tune and program this car. We have some amazing things in place for this harness. We have talked about them all and we've included everything in there, and that's why there is 84 conductors, the choo-choo guys, wires. So I just keep saying wires because when I hear conductors, all I can think of choo-choo trains. So I'm a child. Anyway, this thing is pretty amazing. So what is this stuff right here and what is the benefit of this?
Okay, so this right here is this is the sheathing that we're using, and it's from a company called Raychem.
Okay.
Which is, I believe, a division of Raytheon. But so it's Raychem DR25. Now DR stands for diesel resistant, and basically when this harness is completely done and it's completely booted and sealed, and all the boots are going to be sealed with epoxy, this can be completely submerged in fuel, gasoline, diesel. Basically, it's going to be chemical resistant.
So
it could be completely submerged, and it'll be fine. There'll be no seepage in it or anything.
that is amazing. So what you're saying basically is we are building something that is military grade, essentially.
So basically, this is one of the things that I learned in the military. Anybody that's been in the military knows that you have additional duties. Well, as some of the lower ranking airmen, some additional duties were making connectors, harnesses, and stuff like that. So me and another airman, we got voluntold that this is what we're gonna do. So we got sent to a bunch of different schools to learn how to do stuff like this, and it wasn't fashionable at the time. Nobody wanted to do it. But here it
But
is.
boy, has it paid off.
Yeah. So another thing that that people ask me about, as a matter of fact, Freddie asked me about this the other day. Why is it all white? And does it get confusing?
This is so when people go to take my car apart to figure out how we built this, they have no clue, right?
Exactly. Well, that and also the fact colors confuse me. So I think it's just all white and there'll just be no confusion. No, but seriously, on a serious note, in the aviation industry or stuff that has to do when you're building like large scale electrical systems, it's just easier and cheaper to get one part number with one color.
I like your thinking.
And yes,
I like this.
and it's a lot cheaper, and white tends to be one of the cheaper colors.
Dude,
So
we're saving money already on this
Yeah,
car.
exactly.
We are saving money. So how much that is, I don't know, but you know what? Like, we can spend it in someplace else, and I will do that. I promise you, because this car will definitely cost a lot more money.
but this harness wasn't cheap so far.
So we have invested about $3,000 into just materials, I would say.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, just about that.
And then we still have to buy an ECU, a PMU, and a couple other things to go along with that, like buttons for the steering wheel, buttons for the dash, and a dash display, along with some other odds and ends here and there. We have some really cool connectors. You were putting mil-spec connectors on this, I believe?
Yeah, so this is gonna have mil-spec connectors. So you can get either auto sport connectors or mil-spec. We're gonna be going with mil-spec. Again, they're a little bit on, we'll say, cost effective.
Budget friendly.
Budget friendly.
Because this is a budget build.
Yeah.
Do you believe me?
No, not
Okay,
at all.
good,
Not
because
at all.
I don't believe myself.
Not at all.
So basically, we are putting on everything that is the top of the line stuff. We are going with a budget-friendly type of thing. I think if we were to use the other connectors or different color wires, we'd probably spend another $1,000 probably, right?
Yes. So if we went with the auto sport, it's definitely twice the cost of mil-spec.
Okay, so if we bought one that was, I think our average one was around $120, something like that.
Yeah. So the average connector that we got, the retail is about $160.
Okay, so we would be spending $320.
Yeah. So exactly, if we would have got the auto sport equivalent, it would have spent like about $320.
Did I impress you with my math skills there? I added that really quickly.
That's awesome. I mean, you've been I saw you break out the calculator.
Like, the joke behind that is the fact that, like, when Eric and I first got together and we started talking about this car and the things that we were going to put on this car, Eric literally whipped out his phone, did one number, and did math like that and in his head. And then we came up with some really cool ideas for this car, which we can talk about now. So we're going to put a single turbo on this car. I think a single turbo is going to be the most effective way to keep heat off of the firewall, but not only keep heat off the firewall, we're going to pick a turbo that not really many people are going to expect, because everybody thinks you should go with a big giant turbo on the car, because then it's going to make all that power, you're going to give all those noises and all that. We want to go with something that's a bit smaller, and it looks very very unsuspecting basically, but it's going to carry the power all the way through the rev range, and that is going to be the ideal thing for this car. Because remember, this car was purpose built, and we are purposely building this car to be a better version of itself and the best version of itself that it can be, just like we're doing with this wiring harness. So now that we're done talking about the harness, let's talk about a few more things that we are going to do on this car, which are a lot. So let's get to that. So another one of the features that I really wanted to add to this car is some way to control the power. And Eric has come up with a really good way to do that. How are we going to do that?
Okay, well, first, we're going to be putting an electronic throttle on the car, so the computer's going to have full control over it. And one thing that we're going to do, we're going to use something called math channels. So without getting too much into it, long story short, what I'm going to do is I'm going to program a bunch of equations into the computer. So basically, the computer's going to be able to calculate how much horsepower the engine's making in real time.
That's freaking crazy.
So on if you turn the power dial down to its to its lowest setting, it's going to be 300 horsepower.
Okay.
And the computer is going to know at what RPM, what manifold pressure needs to be to actually maintain 300 horsepower. And the cool thing about it is the way that we're able to do that is by actually entering in mathematical equations that the computer can do to actually figure out the power.
Wait, the computer can actually do math on its own.
Yeah,
is that pretty standard? Like
no,
what? Like
no, it's not. No, it's not. So here's the thing: is that there aren't very many computers that can do that.
You're good. Good.
Motec obviously does that, but it's top line, super expensive. It's not in everyone's budget. But for the price for actually less than the price of a Haltech, you can get a computer that can, and that's a Link.
Okay. So basically, we are going to get something that is this tier, right? It's up here at the price of something that is, well, actually, probably lower, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, we're up here, and this thing is here. And I think the reason why we would say that this is a top tier piece of equipment is because the capabilities that it's going to allow us to do.
Yeah, because to my knowledge, at the price point of where Link is at, Link is the only computer that actually can do, math.
What we want to do.
Yeah.
That's going to be something that we're going to get really into when we start programming this car, because I think that's going to be really interesting to see how you make this car do what it's never intended to do, which is have all these driver aids and features, kind of like a McLaren, right? And if you do the math, right, it might be a little bit faster than a certain blue 675 McLaren LT.
For sure. I mean,
it's just going to be on me at that point then, right? Because then it's still going to be an H pattern. Dude. We don't have a DCT, so we won't have the dual clutch.
Oh, come on, man.
But
don't hurt Freddie's feelings like that.
Oh, I didn't.
I didn't. Can you cut that?
Sorry, Freddie. So one of the things that I wanted to improve upon on this vehicle is the way that this vehicle handles. This car is a very raw, unrefined car. It is a car that will kill you very fast. And we don't want that to happen. We want this car to be more controlled and able to keep up with the supercars of today. Because this was the everyman supercar. We are going to make this the everyman supercar of the day right now. And by doing that, we have to add some features that are extremely high tech. And that's why I've brought Eric over here. So we're gonna talk about the number one feature that I wanted to add to this car. Eric, we have a wheel here, or a wheel hub, and this is a sensor right here to check wheel speed.
Yes.
That is how the speedometer actually works in this car.
Yeah.
And there's only one of them, and it's on the left front upright, which is kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
That is the only sensor you have on this car. So one of the things that I talked to you about was a traction control, and I want this car to be able to launch and have insane power, but not spin around extremely easy. And that's one of the ways we can dial that down, right? So explain to me how you are going to do that with just one sensor here.
we're not going to do it with just one sensor. So for full traction control, we're going to need a minimum of 3 sensors.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be nice to have 4, but because of the way that the rear end is set up on it, what you pointed out, it's hard to add, wheel speed sensors to the rear.
So we would have to basically, we have a hub here.
Yeah.
We have a hub right here. So here is your e-brake cable, and this here would be your only location where you could possibly drill out and add a sensor. The problem is the depth on that is right there. And if you can see, that doesn't even go past the first bend on my finger. So to do that would be extremely hard. So what is the solution that you came up for with the car here?
Oh, so on the Ford Mondeo, originally there's a vehicle speed sensor, typically right here.
Okay,
now,
so I can see the provision there for that, but it's not drilled out, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember I was arguing with you, like, no, there has to be one there. I mean, it's a Ford transmission, of course it's there. And you're like, no, it's not. And you're right, it's not. I guess Lee Noble got like a good deal on just leaving that out.
Well, the funny thing is about that is this is a basic Ford transmission. This comes from a Ford Mondeo, and we looked it up, and the Ford Mondeo has a wheel speed sensor or a transmission.
Vehicle speed sensor.
Vehicle speed sensor, thank you. Ford has a vehicle speed sensor right there in it. So not having that there means that this was definitely something that they probably got on a discount.
Probably.
Hey man, don't drill this extra hole because that will cost me $5 more.
Yeah.
And we need to save that on this everyman supercar.
Yeah.
Also, you should always cheap out on wiring because it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's great. So what Jack is going to do is he's going to drill out this box and actually install a vehicle speed sensor in the OEM location. So we'll be able to get the average speed of the rear wheels on that one sensor. So how the traction control is going to work? It's going to average out the wheel speeds of the front wheels. It's going to average those out and compare that to the driven wheels, which are back here. And if the wheels, if there's a difference in speed beyond a certain percentage, the computer will know that some slipping's happening, and what it'll do is it'll find a way to reduce torque. So and it's gonna do it in layers.
So like increments, like it'll say, oh, you're slipping this percentage, so I'm gonna take away 10% throttle.
Yeah. So basically, well, not even that. So to do like fine adjustments, it may retard the timing a little bit.
Okay.
On the first layer, then if the slip is a little bit beyond that.
So what is, question, because I know probably some of my viewers are wondering what that means. What does it mean to retard the timing?
Let's just say this 3-liter engine at full throttle, at like 7,000 RPM, it's gonna be probably around like 25, 26 degrees advanced. Meaning that before the crank hits top dead center, 25 degrees before top dead center, it's going to light off the spark plug to get full combustion by the time it goes a little bit past top dead center.
Gotcha.
So what happens when you retard the timing, you instead of 25 degrees before top dead center, you're going to bring it back where it only happens, I don't know, like 15 degrees before top dead center.
Okay.
So when you do that, you reduce the amount of torque because
there's not as much pressure pushing down on that piston.
Exactly.
Dude, that's really cool.
Yeah,
like I've never heard it explained like that. So that's kind of cool.
If you think about it, the whole point of ignition timing, how you optimize ignition timing is, think of it like this. When you're on a bicycle and you're pedaling along, what gives you the most mechanical advantage? If you have the crank way up here and then you put your full weight on it,
yes,
and then you go forward, or wait until a little bit later until the crank's right about here, then put your weight on it.
Yeah, so basically you don't have enough leverage.
Yeah, exactly. The longer that you wait to put your weight on the crank on the pedal,
the less driving force.
The less leverage you're gonna have.
Awesome.
So you're pretty much doing that same thing when you're retarding timing. It's just like putting your weight on the pedal. You're waiting a little bit longer before you actually light off your fuel and air mixture and getting your cylinder pressure to act on the piston.
That's a really cool explanation.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So let's talk about some of the other stuff that we're gonna put on this car.
All right. Just getting into place so we can explain the next feature.
All right, I'm getting old. That hurt. So one of the next things that I talked to Eric about, that I wanted to keep this car very race car inside. That was what this car was built for. The purpose of this car was made to be a track car that could do everything that the Supercar could do at a budget price. But we are on a bigger budget now, so we are building this car to be a little bit cooler, right? One of the things Eric talked about was actually adding an electronic e-brake, like in supercars. So, I mean, dude, what is one of the things that we're gonna do? Because I actually gave him the idea, and he came up with the platform and the way to do it. I wanna get rid of this big, hunky, ugly looking thing right here. How are we gonna do that?
Step one, we're gonna unscrew this and throw that away.
So, delete, kind of like my wiring harness delete.
Yes, just like what you did with harness. Same thing.
So with the actuator that you chose, explain why you chose it and what it's gonna do. But also, are we saving weight or are we adding weight with this actuator?
So the actuator, the actuator that we're using to actually set the parking brake, it weighs 1.9 pounds. So I'm curious, I think if we take this assembly off and then the associated components with it, put on a scale, I think it's gonna weigh about at least 2 pounds, maybe even a little more. We could be saving weight by going to the actuator.
We are saving weight and we are making a race car. It's race car.
Well, that part is not so much race car. I just thought it was luxury. It was a nice luxury.
Race car.
Race car, but it is probably gonna. I'm just wondering, can we do that? Can we take this off at some point and actually weigh all the components and see how much this weighs?
Absolutely. I think what we should do first, though, is when we get ready to put the harness in, we'll pull all these things, because once we fit the harness, we're going to do a final fitment once the harness is fully finished. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to clean this up. There's a lot of holes that are not intended to be here. There's a lot of things that need to be welded up, cleaned up to make it look better. Before I do all of that, I need to figure out a way that I'm going to have everything sitting in place. I have the dash coming back to me. We're gonna modify that. We're gonna add some electronics to that. And once we get all those things added and we know exactly where they're going, we will know exactly what we are going to close up, what we are going to open up, and all those different things right there. The mil-spec connectors are really cool because we're gonna actually run the ECU and the power for everything right here. We're gonna have a ECU, a PMU, and our battery most likely somewhere in this area. That's gonna come through right here with mil-spec connectors. So it'll be completely detachable and we'll have a section of the harness that is actually not part of the main harness. That main trunk over there that Eric was building will have all those connectors on it leading to all the different areas of the car. Let's talk about a few more things. You've seen the wiring harness, you've seen the amazing work that Eric here has performed now. The next step for us is getting everything fitted to the car. So I'm gonna send Eric on his way. He's gonna take that beautiful looking wiring harness now and get the rest of this finished out, get the front harness, the rear harness, and the engine harness started. Once those things are ready, we're gonna fit everything up to the car. We're gonna have it completely done. We're gonna know exactly where everything goes. And then we go on to putting the frame back together and getting it ready for powder coat. I have a lot of body work that I gotta get to. I have a few more, I have, hey.
I'm just saying, like, you have a lot to go. Like, I'm glad I got the easy part.
So this is awesome because that gives me anxiety and my work gives him anxiety. So we have this, like, mutual respect for anxiety right now. But what I'm gonna do next is I am going to get the door handles in the car, which I'll show you in the next episode. It's gonna be really cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.